guys, welcome back to a new video. Now today, we're out THOGDAD because he's in Rwanda doing cricket, doing all the charity stuff. So I'm on my own to go through every single Premier League club and grading them on their transfer activity. Now, I get to set the like target for once and I'm going to go for it. I'll say 3,000 likes. If we can hit that, that'll mean a lot and I'll keep up the Premier League content for you guys. Now, we're going to go in alphabetical order, starting with Arsenal. So they brought in Cedric and Pablo Mari. Definitely helps their defence. Cedric being a right back. I think he'll be a backup for Bellerin, and Bellerin does get injured a lot, so I think he's a very solid Premier League standard signing. He's looked decent for Southampton. He plays right back for Portugal as well, which is pretty good. Pablo Mari adds more rotation, squad depth for the centre-back position, something that they've really been having a few problems with. You know, David Luiz and Mustafi, both very inconsistent, and having Pablo Mari means giving them another option, and I think it will improve them. So I'm going to start off with Arsenal and give them B. Aston Villa are next, and these are the signings they made. They brought in Pepe Reina, Samatta, Drinkwater, and Boya Baston from Swansea. Now, I think that's pretty good business. Let's start off with Pepe Reina. Yes, he's getting on a bit, but in the changing room, he's a leader. He's got loads of experience in the Premier League, previously being with Liverpool. I think he was a good person to bring in. Samatta, someone who's a goal scorer, previously played for Genk. Wesley hasn't really lived up to the expectation that they got of him, so to have more options up top is important. Drinkwater, maybe he's getting on a little bit, but to have more rotation in the midfield as well is pretty good. And Boya Baston gives them more squad depth up top. Overall, I think Villa are going to get a B. Let's move on to Bournemouth. Now, they haven't actually made any signings, and I think this is pretty bad because they are in a relegation scrap. And if they aren't making any signings, it shows the board have intent and a thought that they possibly will go down, and they don't want to have any financial problems when they are in the Championship, so they haven't invested at all. If you want to stay up and really believe in staying up, you need quality on the pitch. Some have argued they haven't had enough of that this season. I'm going to have to give them the first D. I'm sorry. Brighton are next. Now, the main people they brought in was Aaron Moy. Now, I think Aaron Moy's been quality this season, and when I watched him against Palace, driving with the ball, good shot on him, so well done to that. They also got Tariq Lamptey. Now, a man who his contract ended at Chelsea. Brighton got onto it. Now, I was actually at the Chelsea-Arsenal game when Tariq Lamptey was actually brought on for Chelsea, and he looked really good. So he's someone with bags of potential. I'm going to give Brighton a C, but a C+, you know, very near to a B. So next to Burnley. Now, they only brought in one proper player, which was Josh Brownhill, and that cost 7 million, I think, and they swapped him with Nahki Wells at Bristol City. He's been doing very well in the Championship, and I think to take the step up, it's been the right time to do so. He's a midfielder, and I think he'll be good for Burnley, Brownhill. So it'll be interesting to see. They didn't do too much activity though, so I'm going to give them a C. The next team that we're going to be grading on their transfer activity is Chelsea. What transfer activity? Good question. There hasn't been any. I swear I recall Chelsea spending millions on lawyers just so they could have this transfer window. And they go out and they end up doing no business whatsoever. They haven't brought in any players. And I'm just thinking, what's going on there? Now, is it a problem between the Chelsea board and the manager? Are they not backing Frank Lampard enough? Because surely if they didn't spend any money in the summer, they'd have enough to spend on a quality player in January. And they just haven't done that. So it's a bit of an odd one. Chelsea fans, tell me in the comments. But I'm sorry, I'm going to have to grade them an E. There's nothing to comment on. Crystal Palace are next. Now, they didn't do too much business, which I didn't expect Roy to do that. But he did bring in St. Tossen. Now, I think he's a pretty good signing. Obviously, on his debut for Palace, got a goal against Man City, which that's bloody impressive if you ask me. But they haven't done too much else, so I'm going to give them a C. Everton are next. If they made any permanent signings, they would have been on the verge of hitting financial fair play. So that's the reason they didn't. Now, they could have made loan signings, but they didn't. They've got players in their team like Cuco Martina and Nias, who they need to get off the wage bill, and they could have loaned them out that window, but they didn't. So they're still on their wage bill, which is pretty bad. And they didn't sign any players, so I'm going to have to give Everton a D. So Leicester next, and the only player they brought in was Ryan Bennett from Wolves, who hasn't been getting into their team that much this season. He's a bit slow for a centre-back, a bit old, but he does have experience last year in the Prem. Gives them more rotation in that position, but he isn't the best of signings, so for Leicester, I'm just going to have to give them a C. This is an interesting one. It's Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp didn't make too many signings. He only made one signing, and that was Minamino for 7.25 million. By the way, bargain. I saw him at the RB Salzburg game, actually at Anfield, and he was quality in that midfield. Jurgen Klopp didn't make any other signings because he's basically saying to his players that he believes in them. So I'm going to be nice to Liverpool and give them a B. Man City are next, and they didn't invest in the transfer window whatsoever. I think in this January transfer window, they should have brought in a leader centre-back or somewhere on the pitch that can really motivate the players. It's what they've missed this season. They miss Vincent Kompany. It's as simple as that. I think in January they should have brought a centre-back in with leadership skills. And they didn't do that. And what happened? They went to Spurs and they lost this weekend. All I'm saying is the City of last season wouldn't have happened against Wolves, and it wouldn't have definitely happened against Spurs on the weekend. So it's disappointing to see. The next team is Man United. Now, if you didn't know, they brought in Ighalo and Bruno Fernandes for 68 million. Bruno Fernandes wasn't done right till the end of January, okay? And the reason for that is because United were not willing willing to pay up the 5 million that Sporting Lisbon wanted. The time they spent worrying about that 5 million is the time that they could have invested in getting Bruno Fernandes out of the way and concentrating on getting a top-class striker in as well. Now, they left it to the last second, and then they had no time, and they had to buy Ighalo, who, if you didn't know, was okay at Watford. Haaland would have been a class signing. I mean, look at how he's doing at Dortmund. And for that reason, I'm going to have to give United a B. I would have given them an A if they signed a decent striker as well as Bruno. Right, so Newcastle are next, and they signed Lazaro, Bentaleb, and Danny Rose. I just think that's the 3 perfect signings. Lazaro, young, fast fullback. He's a bit more of a wing back as well. And then they got Bentaleb. He's done really well in the Bundesliga. He's looking like a really good midfielder. And then of course Danny Rose, we all know he's been around for ages, knows the Premier League, very solid fullback. I think Steve Bruce has done very well, and I'm going to give them an A grade. Solid business. So Norwich are next, and to grade them on their transfer activity, the players they brought in was Sam McCallum from Coventry, and I think they loaned him straight back. They brought in Duda and Lucas Rupp. The big one that stands out for me is Duda. I actually asked a lot of the fans that he supported him in the Bundesliga, and they say he's a very decent player. He's young. He wasn't getting enough game time. Now, I think he might shine at Norwich, so I'm going to give them a positive B on their transfer activity. Sheffield United are next. Now, I don't think I can comment too much on this when I can bring over a Sheffield United fan to talk about his signing. So I'm here with Tom. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Nice to be here. Berge. The fact that we've got someone who's been playing in the Champions League group stage, it's incredible, you know. Youngster,
loads of potential. If you know Football Manager, he becomes very good on their Berge.
Playing against the world champions as well.
Zivkovic, you signed him.
He's played for Ajax, 7 appearances, but 1 goal.
But last time he was at China, wasn't he? I was going to say, before anyone comments, this guy's 6'4", 6'5". Yeah. All right, I'm not sure. I know a lot of people.
Don't worry, he's 6 footer like me.
Exactly, thank you. That's what I like to hear. You've got Jack Rodwell coming in.
Yeah.
Had a bit of a rough time at Sunderland. You happy with that?
Going to be a squad player by the looks of it.
Retsos as well from Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah, as I told you earlier. Yeah. They're training Chris Basham. And funnily enough, they've both been playing the same role because he's a right-foot centre-back.
It has to be an A.
It has to be an A,
okay. A for Sheffield United then. So there we go, we settled on an A, and now it's time to move over to Southampton. Now, if you didn't know, they brought in Kyle Walker-Peters, but they lost Cedric and Yoshida. Now, for me, I don't think Yoshida was good enough, so it was good to get rid of him. I do think Kyle Walker-Peters is solid, and he's definitely got bags of potential, but I don't think there was any need of swapping him for Cedric, so I'm going to give them a C. Tottenham are next. Now, they brought in Gedson Fernandes, who I think is pretty good, Lo Celso on a permanent, and of course, Bergwijn. I've got to say that's great business. And what makes it even better is they loaned Anthony Georgiou to Bolton Wanderers. I mean, let's talk about Bergwijn. Scored on his debut, a screamer against Man City, to go on to beat them as well. And I think I'm going to have to give them an A. Tell me in the comments if you agree or disagree. Watford are next, and the only player they brought in was Pusetto from Udinese. And sorry, I don't really know much about him, so tell me in the comments if you do, but I'm just going to give him a C. The next team is West Ham. Now, they brought in Randolph, Thomas Souček from Slavia Prague, and Jarrod Bowen. The main one that stands out for me is Jarrod Bowen. His stats are unbelievable in the Championship. 17 goals and 6 assists in something like 20-ish games. He's a baller, and I think 15 million, the player he's going to become, I think that's going to be a bargain signing. Randolph, solid goalkeeper, was really good at Borough. I think that was good from West Ham. And Thomas Souček, if he was in the Czech Republic team when they played against England and beat us, then I'm sure it'll be alright too. So I'm going to give West Ham a B. Wolves are the final team of this video. Now, they brought in Leonardo Campagna from Barcelona. Wait for it, SC, not the Barcelona you're thinking of. They also brought in Lloyd Doyce from Dijon and Daniel Podence from Olympiacos. And I've got to say, he looks really good against Spurs in the Champions League. They also brought in Luke Mattison, by the way, who they only signed for $1 million. Now, they loaned him back to Rochdale, but I'm telling you now, watch out for Luke Mattison. He's actually a fullback. He scored against United when they played him in the Cup too. So I'm going to give them B. That is every single Premier League team's grade on their transfer activity this January. Which ones do you agree and disagree on? And if you support a football club that isn't in the Premier League, tell me in the comments who you signed and what you would grade your club with, because I will be looking at comments and responding. 3,000 likes and THOGDAD will teleport back to these videos, I promise, guys. And finally, guys, if you follow me on Instagram at Thogden or my Twitter, then I'll be following a bunch of you guys back. At Thogden, you know how it is. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all later. From me, and sadly no THOGDAD today, I'm out. All right, bye guys.